Me, Louie at DB Sports Talk. Check me out on Twitter. And today we will not be having my co-host Dave Cres on, as we are pleased to be joined by fellow All 32 Access, which is our new website for all 32 blogs. Brendan Harrington at 716 Sports Chat on Twitter. Also the host, the lead journalist, and the owner of the Real Bills Now blog. Brendan, how you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic.
Oh yeah. All right. So it's Wednesday, so August 21st. So the preseason week 3 will be starting tomorrow. First game is Patriots Lions. But let's recap first week 2. Brendan, first talk a little bit about the Jaguars quarterback situation with Blaine Gabbert winning the starting quarterback job, as he was the lead, the head guy pretty much to win the job. Just give a little bit about what to expect from Blaine Gabbert this week and this season heading in as the starter.
Well, yeah, Blaine Gabbert played fantastic. I think he had I'm looking at it right now, 165 yards. That's unbelievable. He hasn't played good yet in his NFL career, but he showed what he can do.
Yeah.
He showed what he can do the other day against the Jets. And here's his stats. He went 13 for 16, 165 yards and a touchdown. He actually sprained his finger or something, but he's out for the rest of the season. But he's out for the preseason, but he already won the job. They announced it.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't see any of the shots taking that he's been doing this year in the preseason. So, but other than injuries, which has been plaguing him with the ankle injury he had earlier in camp, and that's a little bit of a concern. But I think if Gabbert's healthy, he really has to prove himself this year. I still think, but I don't know. Chad Henne I don't really think it's a good situation for the Jaguars either way, because they have a really good receiving core. They actually have an underrated offense.
Yeah, no, they have a really good offense. MVP's back. They got the Nard Robinson. I think he's underrated a little bit.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Plus a veteran tight end, Mercedes Lewis.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they're going to be a good offense, actually.
I think so too.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's talk about another team. Let's go to first. Let's get through the quarterback battles now. The Cleveland Browns also defeated. They had a field day against the Detroit Lions. They won 24-6 in their game. Brandon Weeden had a pretty good game again, second week in a row. He has been named the starter for the Cleveland Browns heading into the season. I kind of think the Cleveland Browns are a sleeper team, Brendan. What about you?
Yeah, I think they could be good. They've got a lot of underrated receivers. Josh Gordon. They got rid of Masqual, but they also have who's the other receiver they have that's underrated?
Well, they have Blackman and Shorts, and then the Browns, right? I think Gordon, Little, and I mean they have Travis Benjamin and a bunch of young guys, but it's a pretty good core.
Yeah, I like Craig Little and Josh Gordon, but there's another guy that's coming in. This will be his first year, I think, as tight end, but Jordan Cameron, tight end. I picked him in fantasy. He's gonna be fantastic, I think, in my mind.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, he actually had 2 touchdowns against the Lions in the week 2 in the preseason, so all connected with Brendan Weeden. So I think he's a sleeper.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. But what I like about Weeden is that he's taking shots downfield. Plus, I think the young offense is really good. Plus, they have arguably the best left tackle in the league in Joe Thomas with the Cleveland Browns. So I think with him, and if Richardson can stay healthy, this could be a sleeper team. They might be able to be better than the Pittsburgh Steelers this season. I think the Bengals might be heading in as the offseason favorite to win the division heading into the season. But I wouldn't count out the Browns to battle for a wild card spot. That's just my opinion. Do you think they can compete for the playoffs this season? I know they're right with the Bills and a young developing team, because I know you cover the Bills. They're very similar in which they have young teams and are really looking to make an impact this year.
I think the Browns are a little upset, but I don't think this is the year. They just got Paul Kruger, which is a big pickup. I'm not sure what the contract is, but he's probably there for multiple years.
Yeah, he is.
I don't know. I don't know about this year, but I know they're up and rising team just like the Bills, so I think they have a couple of years and they'll be in the playoffs again.
I would think so too, but I think with Paul Kruger, that's a good signing. They have a really good pass rush now because they have also Barkevious Mingo, who did suffer a bad injury this week, was in the hospital with a bruised lung, so that's not good to hear. But I mean, that whole AFC North is up in the air. But I think, I mean, let's go to the Bills, who let's start with the Buffalo Bills now for another quarterback battle between EJ Manuel and Cobb. Took a bit of a turn with an injury update with EJ Manuel. The Bills did beat the Vikings 20-16. Manuel had 92 yards and a touchdown to no interceptions again. But then, Brendan, talk a little bit about Brendan's knee injury and how this is going to affect the Bills' offense and plus the quarterback battle heading into the season.
Oh yeah, EJ Manuel was out for a year. He just had a mini procedure on his knee. I'm not sure what's wrong with that. I think it's just a sprain or something. He's out for a couple of weeks. Then they're gonna re-examine him going into week 1. So if Kevin Cobb doesn't play well these last 2 weeks of the preseason, he's not gonna have the job in my mind. But I think it'll be fun to watch Kevin Cobb and see what he can do. He had a terrible first game in many minds, but he did have one good drive. He got into the groove of the game a little bit, but I think that Kevin Cobb will win the job. I don't know, but I just think so.
Yeah, I'm skeptical of Cobb. Based from what I saw in the first game, he looked really uncomfortable, I thought, in the pocket, but he still has got 2 more games to develop. I don't know if they're going to play him in the week 4, not develop, but get used to the system as he's been injured. And he's had a bunch of things keeping him off the field. I just don't know. I mean, now, Brendan, do you think that they even would want to, like, say they believe in Manuel? I mean, why rush him into week 1 against the Patriots? I mean, throw him into that tough game. I mean, I don't know how serious the injury is, but I mean, I think that yeah.
I totally agree. I don't know why. In my mind, I don't think they will play him, whether his injury's gone and they re-examine him, he's fine. But I just can't see the reason for them playing in that game. So
yeah, exactly.
I think Cobb has already won the week 1 job, but if Cobb doesn't play good, I honestly see EJ. I don't know, but that's just my opinion. But I'm pretty sure that Cobb will. I don't know when it'll be announced, but yeah.
I mean, it's tough because the Patriots are, I mean, obviously a playoff contending team with Tom Brady, but I mean, I think that definitely, I mean, no matter who's there, it's going to be a tough game, but I think Cobb's going to be, but yeah, I agree with you that Cobb should be the week 1 starter. They should not rush Manuel back. See what Kevin Cobb could do, and maybe they can make some big plays. Obviously, they have weapons on the offense. That's no weakness for the Bills. So let's go to the Patriots. They defeated the Buccaneers 25-21 in the national game against the Buccaneers, who did have Doug Martin suffer a concussion during that game. Josh Freeman looked very shaky from what I saw. Mike Glennon looked actually pretty poised in the pocket. Brendan, do you think Freeman's job? I mean, if Glennon can keep improving in the preseason and Freeman may struggle, do you see there's any way that Glennon could unseat Freeman and get some playing time this season, or maybe even unseat him as a starter early in the year?
I don't know about early in the year, but But if Josh Freeman plays like he's played the last couple of years, I just can't see him keeping the job all year. So yeah, I think Mike Glennon has a chance. I love the way he throws the ball. I just love the way that Mike Glennon plays the game quarterback. But that's actually one of the guys that I wanted the Bills to draft before they drafted EJ Manuel. But yeah, I like how Mike Glennon played this preseason also. He had one nice touchdown pass to Overtree that I saw.
Yeah, he did.
He split the Cowboys. I remember that. That was probably my favorite play I've seen from a different team all preseason. But yeah.
I mean, from what the stats say, I mean, he finished with 121 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, he looks really good so far. He looks comfortable, but I think it could happen eventually, but I'm not so sure. I think Freeman still has his job wrapped up. And also going to the Patriots side of the ball, Tom Brady and Danny Amendola really connecting on that one drive. Amendola finished with 71 yards and a touchdown. It really doesn't seem that Brady's struggling with the decreased amount of weapons with Gronk out, and obviously we know about Hernandez and Welker. What's going on with them? How do you think so far that the Patriots' new offense looks, and how much do you think they're gonna have to rely on the run game heading into the season?
Oh, I think they're gonna rely on the run game heavily, but I don't think they need to. They've got Rodman Cross will be out for a few weeks. I don't know how long, but they've got Zach Sudfeld.
Yep.
He's played has to get his preseason. I really want to see what he can do. He had 2 touchdowns the other day, one from Brady and one from Mallet. But yeah, I like watching him the other day when I was watching the Patriots game. But I think they will rely on the run game, but I still think they have a couple of receivers that can make big plays, like Amendola, Dobson, his name is, I think. He's pretty good. And Hopkins or whatever his name is, I think he's the number 2 guy.
Yeah.
Slot.
He's also looked pretty good. I mean, they just have a bunch of weapons that are just emerging. Like Zach Sudfeld just came out of nowhere and is becoming a well-known name around the league now. So, I mean, they use 2 tight end sets, so I definitely think if Hernandez is... I mean, obviously we know he's not coming back, and I don't think Jake Ballard really has made that big of an impact. Sudfeld could be huge. So, let's move on from that game now, and let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles and their quarterback battle, which has been sealed up. Michael Vick has been named the starter for Chip Kelly in that offense. They defeated the Panthers 14-9 in a bounce-back game from the Patriots. Michael Vick and Nick Foles looked pretty good in the no-huddle offense. Vick led a scoring drive and had 1 interception, which was off a Hail Mary. Had some good running. Foles had a really bad interception deep into the red zone. Do you think Chip Kelly made the right decision making Michael Vick the quarterback? Because, I mean, it's very skeptical based on what Vick has done in the past couple of years, which he's struggled. But do you think he made the right decision?
I really do think he made the perfect decision because the way they run this offense, Nick Foles isn't much. He's lovable, but he's not that much of a mobile quarterback.
Yeah.
The way they ran it in Oregon, they need a mobile quarterback, so I like that they put back to run the Wildcat kind of offense often.
I mean, I think that, yeah, I think that Vick's definitely going to be, I think he's the right decision. I was very skeptical and based on what type of quarterback that Chip Kelly wanted, because at first he was saying that he wants him, he doesn't really, it doesn't matter what type of player he has, but I think going with Michael Vick really showed that he wants a mobile guy. And so I think that with Vick, the read option I think is going to work much better. And I think you made a good point that, I mean, Foles has some running mobility, but it's not even come close compared to what Vick can do. So I think it was a great decision, and I think that this, I mean, helps the Eagles better for contending now. That's just personally my opinion.
Yeah, if Mike Vick is injured, I could see them going to the playoffs, maybe deep in the playoffs. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. So yeah, all they got to do is get in. I mean, that's what I've seen from the Ravens and Giants in the past playoffs. So, all right, so let's move on to Week 3, where not a lot happened. So in preseason 2, not a lot of big headlines. Also, wait, before we go to Week 3, Brendan. Vince Young has been a Packer and he's played a couple games. I mean, he's been battling it for the backup spot. Do you think he can make any impact in the Packers? Do you think he's at risk of being cut?
To be honest, I've been trying to get into finding out how he's been doing. How is he doing?
I mean, averaging a good amount of yards per game, but they're saying that the other 2 quarterbacks look much more comfortable, but I just think that, I mean, with Vince Young as your backup, it's a very reliable guy he has a winning record in the league.
Yeah, no, he was fantastic when he played for the Titans his rookie year and a couple years after that. But yeah, I would love to see him as a backup for the Packers.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to Week 3 now, where we'll talk about some of the big games. One of the main ones that really pop out to my eye is right here. I personally think that Seahawks Packers is a big one to see how. Both of these teams look with Russell Wilson, obviously, and then the new look Packers offense with Eddie Lacy and Jonathan Franklin. Let's first talk a little bit about how the Packers new run game looks. Who do you think is going to get most of the carries this week and heading into the regular season, Eddie Lacy or Franklin?
Probably Eddie Lacy. I love Eddie Lacy. Coming out of Alabama. Yeah, I like Eddie Lacy. So I haven't really heard much about Franklin.
Yeah, I haven't really either. He's kind of disappeared, I think.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Okay, so let's. I mean, there's not many big headlines for that one, as the backups really aren't that interesting. Mainly, not a lot of roster battles going on there. But one team that isn't really getting a lot of media attention is the Oakland Raiders, who are also in a quarterback battle, arguably with Matt Flynn, Terrell Pryor, and I guess you could say, and also Tyler Wilson's very much in the mix. From what I've heard, he struggled a bit more than the other 2. Do you think Matt Flynn has a real shot of being unseated? And what do you think he has to do this week? Do you think he has to really shine, or do you think he just got to play solid and hold a spot over Pryor, who's actually looked pretty good?
Well, Matt Flynn was sacked 5 times last game against the Saints.
But that could be because of the offensive line.
Yeah, it is fine.
Oh, yeah.
It is. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, but I was kind of saying that, but yeah, he actually played really well. I watched a replay on NFL Network of the game with Matt Flynn, and he played really well. So I think he might have already won the job because Trump Pryor hasn't looked very good, and also Tyler Wilson, I'm a big fan of. He hasn't looked very good either. So I don't think Matt Flynn should do much to win this job because I just think he had to do the job, but I guess it's a quarterback battle. I haven't heard much about it though.
Yeah.
That's not one of the big ones.
All right, let's talk about the Sunday night game, which is Vikings at the 49ers. The 49ers had some big headlines this week as they traded their 2012 first-round pick receiver A.J. Jenkins to the Chiefs for John Baldwin. So, and also they traded him for John Baldwin, another receiver for the Chiefs, both achieving receivers. Who do you think has the better end of this deal, and what can we see maybe from John Baldwin against the Vikings this week?
Yeah, I think John Baldwin. He went to the 49ers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both first-round draft picks. I like both of them, but I think you'll see a lot from John Baldwin. Maybe a starter for them. So yeah.
I mean, it's tough because of how neither one's really hasn't really made much of a big impact. I think that John Baldwin's got really good size. Both, I mean, I think could have a big impact for their team. But I think where the 49ers need a number 2 guy opposite Baldwin, I think Baldwin has the better opportunity. I agree with you that Baldwin could be maybe a difference maker. So, but let's stick with that game. I want to talk about the 49ers quarterback situation with Ponder, who has looked dead awful. I mean, what he said about your Bills defenses, they were confusing and a bunch of new schemes. It's like I don't want to hear that stuff.
Yeah, how does he admit that? I've never heard a quarterback say that.
You don't say the defense was confusing me, so they gave us a lot of weird looks. No. So, I mean, and plus Matt Castle has not looked good, but he also hasn't looked atrocious like Ponder has. Is there any way that Ponder's job is not secure, and maybe if Castle comes in and improves, maybe there's something there. I'm not sure.
And maybe I don't think there's any way that he'll lose the job for week 1.
Yeah.
But if Christian Ponder just plays god awful and AP's the whole team, then I was gonna have to say that they put Castle in just to give another look in. But I think the X factor for the Vikings is their play action passes.
Yep.
And the red zone. I just like the way they do that. Like everyone thinks that Adrian Peterson is going to get the ball. They do the little play action and then throw it to Randolph a lot. So yeah, I just like that.
I think that's actually a good point because Ponder actually really excelled in that last year, going to Kyle Rudolph into like you said, in the red zone. Rudolph had 9 touchdowns, and a lot of them were in the red zone. So, but I mean, what Castle did with the Chiefs when they went to the playoffs, I mean, he was kind of just a game manager, but he actually looked pretty good. And I think that, but I mean, one thing is Ponder. I mean, he's still young, so he's still developing, but I don't really think he's the quarterback of the future for this team. I think it's going to be all on Peterson's back again, which is why I don't think the Vikings are going to make the playoffs, because I just don't think he can keep that performance going. Maybe he can still do great individual stats, but the Vikings, to me, are around a 7-win team, and I think they're really, I mean, this week, if Ponder does not look good, there's going to be some questions arising in Minnesota, just personally in my opinion.
Yeah, I was actually at the Bills Vikings game last week. He was horrible.
I mean, what I've seen, because he literally last season he averaged the second least amount of yards per attempt, only behind Blaine Gabbert of the Jaguars. So I believe it was like 5.6 yards per attempt. I mean, they were all checkdowns. So I mean, honestly, he's got to start taking some chances, and it's against a tough 49ers defense. But remember last year, the Vikings beat the 49ers, and Ponder had one of his best games that game. So, but again, like you said, you were there. I mean, he looked really, really bad.
Yeah, he did. But in the NFC North, I would have to say that there might be 3 teams coming out of there.
I think so too.
I don't think the Vikings are one of them. I think the Lions are going to go play because they've got a lot of star power now with Reggie Bush coming in. I like the Bears also. They're going to be pretty good.
I think they're both. I think I agree with you there, and that probably means that the NFC West probably only has 2. I don't know if the Rams and Cardinals both are going to contend, but they're going to be close. But I think the North is stacked, and I like what you said about Bush coming in because that might be the difference making between who's better between the Lions and Vikings. I mean, the Vikings made the playoffs last year, so but again, it's all riding on a running back. So that's just not a really a good formula for success personally. I think. I mean, obviously Peterson's a great player, but I mean, how many wins do you think this team gets around? I don't know if I just asked that, but like, what win would you probably say? What record they have?
The Vikings?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have to say probably around 8 or 9 just because of injuries.
Exactly. Yeah.
They would have that great of a defense either, but yeah.
Their defense. Yeah.
The Packers defense was really good last year, and I just think that Aaron Rodgers has to play like Hall of Famer quarterback to for them to go to the playoffs.
It's true.
I guess they have regulation now, but I honestly don't know if the Packers are getting to go to the playoffs yet this year.
I think for Rodgers, what he has to do, I mean, I think, like you said, Lacey, he's a huge part of that. Plus, the defense, like we said, struggled. If they can stop the read option, I think a lot rides on the read option this year because if it doesn't work out as well as it did last season, I think you're going to see Aaron Rodgers and the Packers and Eli and them emerging more. I think that the other quarterbacks might struggle, like Kaepernick and RG3 or Cam Newton, but I think with the Packers, I kind of like what you said. I think the question should still be on them on how. I mean, because their defense did not play well last year. So with that, I think let's move on from the NFC North and we'll talk about a couple more games before we go. One other game I want to talk about is the New York Jets versus the New York Giants. Geno Smith is going to start this game. They're in a quarterback battle with Mark. He's in a quarterback battle with Mark Sanchez, who played a lot. Tell me what you think about that battle and how you think it's going to work out in this Week 3 game. How do you think Geno's going to look?
I personally do not like Geno Smith as a quarterback. I'm glad that he fell in the second round because I don't think he's worth a first round pick. But yeah, I think he has a chance because he's going to start. I just don't think they trust Mark Sanchez if they're going to give. Mark Sanchez played really well the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, he did.
Except the one last second play going in the half last game when he wasted too much time and threw it away instead of taking the field goal. But I just think that they don't trust him in the regular season. But if they're going to give Geno Smith this job, then I don't know about Mark Sanchez. Do you think they could cut him? Contract, but
I mean, if Geno wins the job, I think you should just cut ties with him and has Greg McElroy as your backup and go get another guy in free agency. Maybe one of the guys from Philadelphia, like a Dixon or a Kenny or whoever doesn't make the team there. I think that, or that I posted an article about if Foles should be traded. I think this is the perfect time, and I think the Jets could definitely fit it because I agree with you. There's a reason why the Bills picked Emmanuel over Geno. The ceiling's much higher, and Geno has a lot of question marks, and he's really gonna have to come out and really look good this week. Because Sanchez, like you said, looked good the past 2 games. I just want to see him. If Sanchez, he just doesn't know how to stop turning over the football. He's had a pick in both games, so I think.
Yeah.
But this team is what, a 5-win team.
I think people are actually kind of underrating them. I would give them 7 wins or something like that.
Their defense is good.
They still have a pretty good. They still have a pretty good defense, but yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. They could win 5 games, but you never know about it.
Yeah, I mean, last year they were a 6-win team. I'm not sure how much better they are, but again, you never know. They got some young pieces. What about the Giants, though? Hakeem Nicks is back. Victor Cruz is injured, though. I want to talk about the running backs, so with David Wilson and Andre Brown. It's a lot looking like it's going to be 60-40 in favor of Wilson to Brown, but Brown also I've seen is coming in a lot on third downs for pass protection. How much are the Giants going to rely on the run this year? And this is a good test against a good Jets defensive line. Who do you think is going to be the better productive running back this year?
Is it really that close, 60-40?
I mean,
I don't know. Is that close?
I don't even know if it's going to be that close. I'm just saying based on if he plays on third downs, it might be 70-30. It just the explosiveness and the talent is on David Wilson's side, but you never know with how Brown looked last year. I mean, he had 8 touchdowns and he only played 10 games.
Yeah, Brown looked really really good last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have to say David Wilson would be the top back.
I agree.
But I don't know. I would say it's gonna be like 75-25 because I love David Wilson. I think David Wilson and the Steelers still are waiting to have him.
Ooh, that's a good prediction. I like that as well. They are similar in skill wise as well. like how they are the type of player. All right, before we go, we're gonna talk about one more game, and we're gonna talk about your Bills again, since it's your I'm super intrigued by how both of these teams, but it's also RG3 and the Redskins. Talk a little bit about what to expect from Kevin Cobb this week and the offense, and also RG3 wants to play this game, but I mean Kirk Cousins is injured as well. Rex Grossman will probably get the nod. What do you want to see from the Bills defense against a test against this Redskins with Bird coming back, which is obviously the big news for the Bills? Talk a little bit about the Bills defense and also what to expect from the Redskins offense.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Bird isn't going to play this week.
Probably not.
Because he's just coming in with a new playbook and stuff. But from the defense, I just want to see them stop Rex Grossman. Well, it depends on if Cousins is actually out. But I just want to see him stop him like they had the first team defense just to stop the first team offense, because they really have the last couple of weeks. I just like the way they played, but I don't think they're going to see much of a read option.
Yeah, probably not.
That they would with RG3, but I just want to see how they're going to work against the read option. They haven't seen it yet this preseason, but they're not going.
That's true. I mean, you have that. Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Pat White, he's actually looked, I think, pretty decent so far in the preseason. I don't know if he's gonna give Rex Grossman a run for that third spot, but I think that actually might be a good test. Hopefully, the Bills can get a little bit of that read option sense. Even in the division, other than Ryan Tannehill might run a little bit. I mean, you're probably not gonna see it as much in the AFC as you're gonna see it in the NFC. I would probably say.
Yeah.
All right, so that's gonna yeah. Well, yeah.
Kevin Cobb will be working with Stevie Johnson on the slot.
Oh, that's true. Is he playing?
Yeah, he is. Ooh. He's gonna make his preseason debut.
I wanted to see Manuel with him, but I guess Cobb.
Yeah.
I mean, but one thing I think is, I mean, with Cobb, I want to see he's gonna have to just go all out. I mean, I think he does have the starting job. Obviously, I mean, Jeff Toole's still there. He's actually looked pretty good so far in the preseason. So, but one guy, let's talk about before we go the Bills receivers. Brad Smith, Derek Rogers, and Marcus Easley are all battling for those last couple receiver spots. How many do you think the Bills are going to keep, and who's going to come out on top?
Well, I would have to say that I want them to keep 7, but they're probably going to end up keeping 6. I would have to say that Marcus Easley, another guy, Chris Hogan, from Hard Knocks.
Yes.
And then Derek Rogers. Wait, did I say Derek Rogers?
No, I don't think so.
I actually think that Brad Smith will be cut. Even though they just restructured his contract, I just can't see him making the roster with all the talent they have at receiver.
Yeah. All right. One more before we go. Steelers Chiefs. We were talking before, and you said a little bit about how you think Landry Jones has been a bit impressive so far. Do you think, honestly, if Roethlisberger goes down, do you think they're going to look for Landry Jones to step in? And how do you think he's looked so far in the preseason? And just talk a little bit about his development before we leave.
Yeah, he looks really good. He looks really good this year so far in preseason. They've been talking about how he hasn't made that much of a step from college to the pros so far, but he looks pretty good. But another guy that has a backup, Greg Kowski, I think his name is. Yeah. He's played for Cincinnati. I just love the way he plays. Mm-hmm. And he played for Oakland last year. I don't think Landry Jones is gonna play this year because I think Greg Kowski will take the job if Roethlisberger goes down, because he seems to always have a mini injury. Greg
Kowski always seems to come in and impress as well, I think. So from where he's been in Cincinnati and Oakland, he's actually come in and looked pretty good.
Yeah, I think he's an underrated backup quarterback. I think he could be arguably the best backup quarterback in the NFL, but yeah.
Let's talk about that. Who do you think, out of all the backups, who could be probably the best? Do you think it's Greg Kowski is the best, or who do you think is the best backup in the league? Cobb?
No. I know you were just gonna say because Ryan Fitzpatrick is my favorite.
True. I forgot about Fitzpatrick.
I actually think he's good. He's not that great of a starter, but I think he could be one of the best backups.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, I definitely agree in that sense, of course. I mean, from his stats wise, it could be Fitzpatrick, but I mean, Greg Kowski, but maybe about the Eagles with Nick Foles, because I think in a lot of teams he might start.
Oh yeah.
And then
Dennis Dixon maybe too.
yeah, my man Dennis. All right, so that's gonna do it for today. Oh wait, what? Give me one more.
I also like Kyle Orton on yeah, you can say that.
I don't like him.
No, I like it.
I mean, in Denver he looks pretty. I don't know, but I guess I don't think he's gonna see the field much. But maybe Terrell Pryor looks pretty good this season. I'm not so sure about his development as well.
And one more guy. I just had it in my head. I can't remember his name now.
Drew Stanton? No. Matt Hasselbeck from the Colts is also a reliable guy.
Oh my gosh.
Glennon. I'm trying to think who you're thinking. Owen Daniels. Oh, Pittsburgh?
No. I should have said that.
Is it the Chargers? I'm not sure. Not Charlie Whitehurst. Ugh, I hate him.
No, I like him though.
I don't like Charlie Whitehurst. He's always got his luscious hair flowing out of his helmet. It's aggravating. Shows it off.
I like this isn't the guy that I was gonna say, but I like Osweiler on the Broncos.
Yeah.
Big tall guy.
I think they got him to be the quarterback of the future. That's just my opinion. I took him in the 3rd round. He's big, like you said.
Yeah.
But they also got Zach Dysert this year.
Oh yeah, they actually said last year that if it comes down to like they're at like 30 or 40,
they
and
put him in.
Left, then they're gonna put him in.
I don't like that.
I
don't like it.
I would love to see that.
I mean, yeah, it'd be fun to see because he's got a big arm. But I mean, you can't rely on Peyton to win you the game. I don't know. But I don't think I don't think they're ever gonna be in that situation.
Yeah.
All right, so that's going to do it for today's NFL Experts podcast. I was your host, Louie DiBi. That's going to wrap it up again. We did not have Dave Cres, but we had Brendan Harrington filling in. Follow him on Twitter at S716SportsChat. Also check him out. He's the owner, lead journalist, and host of the podcast on realbillsnow.blogspot.com. Check out me, Brendan, and Dave. We have a brand new website coming out. All our blogs will be linked. All 32 teams, every blog. It's called All 32 Access. You can check that out at all32access.webs.com. That's developing up, so we'll have articles up for that soon. And Brendan, it was good talking with you, and we'll see you later.
Yep. All right, thanks for having me on.
Good times.